I know that political parties have several meetings with INEC. I think they even had one recently during that stakeholders meeting. But I'm not sure, could it be me, do they give enough attention to that issue about INEC ensuring that collation of results is as transparent as possible? Because they get results that some of their agents are chased out in some states during some of the last elections, but I'm not sure if we focus enough on it, do they?
Because most of the time, even the political parties are thinking of how to outsmart the system. So they don't, you see, let us go back to seal the foundation. The first thing I said, everybody wants to win. Now, how many people want to win the right way?
But there are people who want to win the right way, aren't they?
How many of them?
But in this case, you have 37.
So, you and Jebelin, let us not. I'm not. It's not to belittle anybody, but you and I know that 37 people are not jostling for that agwaka. You and I know that. You don't have more than 4 or 5 candidates. That's reality.
So has it undermined any prospects or any process leading up to the elections, or has it complicated it? They've
been having numerous people. First of all, it puts some pressure more pressure on INEC. Because these 37 people, you know it, that, like I said, we have about 4 candidates anyway. We have about 4 candidates. I could make allowance for the 5th one. You already know who I'm talking about. You see, I'm trying not to let my personal flavor color lap platform. However, the reality, and as somebody who has played in the field, the reality is that we don't have more than, at the very most, 5 candidates.
Do you think that the security situation will allow or will stop some who ordinarily would have come out without that threat or those threats? Would they say, since all this is going on, I'm not sure, let me just stay back and let them go vote?
There is no doubt that we won't have the number of people we would have had were not for some threat, imagined or real, coming out to vote. Remember IPOB, I think that's the name, IPOB.
IPOB, yes.
Yes. IPOB had said no election. And then in my own town, where somebody who was then, not a candidate, what do you call them again, who wanted to run for this governorship, was burying his in-law in my town. Some people went there. It was said that they were IPOB people. And disrupted that, said that was to be a campaign. The man was about to hold a rally. Somebody was about to bury his in-law. So people are afraid that, look, we might actually be attacked. Now, what has happened now? The whole of Anambra State has become militarized. So you don't know whether you're afraid of police, army, or IPOB, because some people are really afraid of them. In as much as they are not formally, officially violent. But of course, you know that there will be some pockets of people who are not following what directive they had, assuming they're directed not to be violent in all their operations, in all they do. I mean, IPOB. However, there will be some pocket of people who could decide to take the laws into their hands and do some other thing. We say we shouldn't go and vote. Why are you going to vote? So some people will decide to just stay back in their homes, play safe. After all, whoever gets to Agoka, as usual, they just go there and be stealing our money. So why am I going to risk my life? We won't get the numbers we have got. Why not for such fear of security?
But no, because this level of concern and the fears, it generates a lot of ripple effects. One of which we have seen in past elections, like Clement himself has had in different forums reported that they recorded over 3,000 electoral cases and have not been resolved. And we're going into 2019. We're going to conduct that in Anambra State on Saturday. How do you see all this piling up leading up to 2019 and having to have so much cases that are yet to be resolved?
First part of the problem is the judiciary. The system is sluggish, not even slow, it's sluggish. Another thing is, like you just talked about, 37 people coming to contest, even those who could barely afford the form. Who could barely afford it. So we don't even have one single vehicle to campaign. Meanwhile, they're there on the ballot. And every politician who comes out and tells you, I'm sure I'm going to win. The next thing you see, we have 36 cases in court against the person who now wins. And they do that for what? For relevance. I think INEC pays them some money pays every political party some money. So some funny characters are there running around answering candidates. Then, as you're disturbing the governor, the person who won, you say, look, you know what? Oh yeah, come and take this. Other cash or
is that why the number is increasing?
That is, I'm telling you what happens in real life. Some politicians would agree that to tell you this publicly, but that is the purpose. It's either you'll be settled, you know, Nigerians stand for settlement by appointment or bring somebody who appoints.
So what will you call that, electoral corruption?
I thought I said something about Nigeria and this default mode.
No, you know,
corruption.
A lot of people argue with you that the Nigerian people, the average Nigerian person, isn't a corrupt mind. They are just people who think out of the box. But would you say that qualify this particular scenario where a lot of, parties who you say cannot even buy a vehicle to campaign are coming out to run for governor? Isn't that political corruption?
That's exactly what I'm saying. Average Nigerian. I don't know what you mean by average Nigerian, because I'm talking about Nigerians across board. Your vulcanizer is there to cheat you. Is that Buhari? Is that the president? Your doctor is there to cheat you. Your lawyer is there to cheat you.
No. You can
always argue that.
All right, we'll be back in just a moment. Join us again. Welcome back. So, what would you expect? What would you like to see tomorrow?
I would like to see, a LAP would like to see election without violence, free and fair. People go and cast their votes. The votes reflect, the result reflects the voting. And whoever wins, we congratulate the person, and the person governs Anambra State for the next 4 years. That's what we want to see.
Who do you favor to take that position?
Who do I or who doesn't?
Who do you favor to take that position?
I told you I'm here representing LAP, so LAP has no preference. Personally, I do. LAP does not.
But about having a long list of those who are contesting, how should we approach this? Because if you say, don't pay any money to any political party, the other ones will say, no, why shouldn't they? Because incumbents will always resort to, they say they resort to state funds to fund elections. Would that help? What do we do? I
don't even think INEC funds elections, because the amount of money I hear they give to those parties is not such that could fund any election. And whether we like it or not, the truth is that Anambra State is one of the most expensive places to run for any position, even councillorship. So INEC should stop giving them money, so that serious people could. Because, you see, money is not that important. If you have a message, you could get money. Just like if you have a good business idea, you could get money to fund it. But if all you're going
does that really happen in politics?
It does. It does. For instance, you see, I'm out of partisan politics. The reason is I saw it was just a big mess. But does it mean that I'm no longer interested in what happens in Nigeria? Does it mean that I'm not part of some groups that are trying to instill some measure of discipline in the political space? I am. And it's still not free. It costs money to even host a meeting, at least to give people water to drink. So if we identify those people whose message resonates with disciplined mind, with intelligent people, who are seeing tomorrow, who are not interested in how much they can get to and ruin this country or ruin the state, then those people can be funded. Because what you see now is most people having to fund themselves, and it's difficult. Go, check it. Most times, people who are making waves in politics are those who have worked in government. You ask yourself the question, where do you get the money from? Former public servants have billions to spend. Where did they get the money from?
It will be interesting to see how that turns, and of course we'll always bring you details and information about that election. But thank you for talking to us this morning, Mr. Kenneth Odedika of the League of Anambra Professionals. Well, back in a moment. Don't go away.